In this video I'm going to talk about connectivism. I'll start off by giving just the basics of connectivism. We're not going to go into it too deeply, so remember there's a little bit more to it than what I've presented here. But it's enough for us to sort of get an idea of what it is and to have a bit of a discussion about what its implications are. In the second part of the video I'll show you how to engage in the discussion. So I've set up a little wall posting site which is pretty easy to use, and I'll just show you how to do that and how we can have a discussion on this posting wall. So first of all, let's talk about connectivism. We'll start with the problem. The problem is, this is human knowledge and this is time. So you can see that previously, 40, 50 years ago, human knowledge increased but very slowly. Maybe once every 20 to 100 years human knowledge would double. But then with the digital age, things have increased faster and faster and faster, to the point where some people are estimating that human knowledge is doubling every 2 years, and futurists are saying that it will come to a time when human knowledge is doubling every few months. So in the past you could learn, there wasn't all that much knowledge around, and you could learn what you needed to know at school, in your childhood, whatever, and that would be enough for you to get through your career, to be able to function in society, to get all the information you needed, and to know that that information was current. However, now information is changing all the time. It's very quick. What was relevant before is irrelevant now. What was up to date before is out of date now. So things are changing all the time, and it's changing so quickly that we need to know more and more. The more we know, the faster we know more. So that's why it's an exponential curve there. It's just increasing and increasing and increasing, and it's getting to the point where we can't remember it. Well, we're well past that point now. You just can't memorize all that you need to know, so it gets to the point where we just can't hold it in our heads. Coupled with that, there's another problem. The old theories, behaviorism, cognitivism, constructivism, they were all developed in that time when we didn't have the digital age, when we didn't have that rapid increase in human knowledge, and so they don't really help us with how do we cope with this rapid increase in knowledge. And this person here, George Siemens, he addressed that in his theory. Well, it's not a theory so much as a model of learning. It's called connectivism, and he published an article called Connectivism, a Learning Theory for the Digital Age, in 2004. And what he proposed was a model to help us to visualize what's going on here and visualize how we can actually move forward, how we can actually cope with all of this information, this increase in information changing all the time, more information, all the things that we need to be able to work with, all that information that we need to work with in modern times. So he questioned what knowledge is. So what is knowledge? Is it what's just in your head? Is it just what you've memorized? Is it the sum of your experiences? Is it all the stuff that you can actually tell people? Or is it what you can, or does it also include what you already know, or what you can know? So if you can connect to Facebook and answer a question, does that mean you know the answer? Or because you have to go to Facebook and ask the question and get it answered, doesn't that part of your knowledge? So what connectivism says is that we've got all these information nodes, information sources, and we are connected to them. And our connection to those information nodes means that that becomes part of our knowledge. So what he's done is he's broadened the definition of knowledge from what is in our heads to include what is in our heads and what we can actually connect to, which is why it's called connectivism. So knowledge is what information you can connect to. So in the past it was what was in your head that you got from your life experience, from your schoolwork, whatever, and it might have also included your friends and family, the books and notes. So if you wanted to know something, you'd ring up your mum, she'd tell you how to do it. So those things there. But now what connectivism says is that there's a much bigger source of information there, and that's the internet. And so our knowledge includes all of this, not just what's in our heads, it's all the things that we can connect with. And connectivism makes the point that the way our brains work is like connectivism in miniature, micro connectivism if you like. So we've got these neurons in our brain, we've got trillions upon trillions of them, and they've got these little connections here, and it's the connections between the neurons, so each neuron can have thousands of connections, and that is what is our thought processes, that's what our memory is. So inside our brains we've got all of these connected neurons that are the way we think. So what they're saying is, well, on a bigger scale, that's what's happening on the internet. So this is a little picture of a Facebook connection. So who's connected to who's friends with who. And you can see that there's massive amounts of activity in the middle here, people with hundreds of friends. There's other people on the outsides there with 3 or 4 friends. But they're all connected to each other, they're all providing each other with information, they're all updating each other's information, they're all information sources for each other. So if you want to know what Justin Bieber's up to, someone on the internet will be able to tell you, someone on Facebook will be able to tell you if that matters to you. If you want to know what the history of New Zealand is, probably you might not find it on Facebook, but there's other connections there. It might be to Google or it might be to Wikipedia. So this is just a connection, a network of people, but you've included in, but also you've got a network of information sources. So Wikipedia, Google, the course that we're doing now, that would be another one of your information sources. So in addition to this, connections to people, there's also other information sources as well. So the question we need to ask ourselves as educators is, do we need to concentrate on just learning information, knowing what? So should we continue just trying to memorize stuff, teaching kids facts and figures and getting them to memorize it and then repeat it back to you and call that learning? Or is learning knowing where to find information? Do we need to move to teaching them how to access good information, how to get that information and critically analyze it and decide whether it's useful or not, whether it's true or not, to actually be able to find stuff on the web, all of those skills there. So should we be moving from concentrating totally on just learning facts and figures, or should we be moving to the connectivist view where the students are developing connections and we're encouraging them to make those connections, and their knowledge is not so much what's in their head, it's what they can actually connect to. So the discussion question is, do we need to change the focus of learning from knowing what and knowing how, so knowing things and knowing how to do things, to knowing where, so knowing where to find that information? So what I'd like you to do is, well, hopefully you're already on the site here looking at this video as we speak. When you finish the video, what I'd like you to do is just click on any of these green spots, that'll get you out of the video, and go in and post, have a think about what's on the video. I've put a quick summary here of what's on the video. By the way, down the bottom here there's more information on connectivism if you're interested in more. You don't need to look at this if you don't want to, it's just an interesting video. And this is done on a thing called Padlet, which is a wall program. And if you want more information about that, you just click on this video, it'll tell you all about it. But what I want you to do is I want you to have a think about it and think about this question, and then just go in and post your view. And the way to post is you just click on, or double click, and it'll come up with this, and all you do is you start typing. So it says your name or post title. It might be that you want to put a title there, okay, and then this is the first post. Oops. So once you've done that, you just click and then it's all done. If you want to change it, you just hit this green pencil here. Now you won't be able to change other people's ones, but you can change yours whilst you're in there. So that's what I want you to do. And oops, what I also should have done was at the bottom I just want you to write your name or put it at the top so we know who's saying what. If you come onto the site and you see a post that you think is quite interesting, have a post post what you think and maybe stick it underneath. Now don't worry if you muck up with these things. I'm going to come along and I'm going to tidy it all up. If you want to resize it, because what it's going to do is it's just, as you type, it'll just start extending right along there. If it's really bothering you, you can actually go in, oops, it'll do that, and you can actually resize it like this. So if the bottom right hand corner allows you to sort of resize the boxes however you want to do it. So what I want you to do is post something. If there's a post there that you think is really interesting, put your post in underneath it, and then hopefully we'll get a whole lot of posts here and responses all sort of lined up, and we can sort of read them like we're just reading a wall.